In this video, I'm going to show you how I turned my passion into a six-figure baking business and how you can too, so you can avoid all the confusion, overwhelm, frustration, everything that comes along with running a business. So let's dive in. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Janelle Copeland, and I owned an award-winning bakery in Los Angeles for almost 12 years called The Cake Mamas. I started from home, built it, scaled it, and when it was running on its own, I started teaching and consulting other small business owners how to build their dream business too. Now I get to share all of my tips to help you cut through all of the noise, stay focused, and scale your business. On this channel, I share game-changing tips on how to get better at your pricing, marketing, and more recently, how to leverage AI in your business. So be sure to click the subscribe button, and let's dive into today's topic. First, I want to share the three biggest mistakes I see bakers make when starting a small business. Mistake number one, unfortunately, is believing that your passion is enough to grow and scale a business. It's not. Passion's fleeting. Today you may love baking cakes or decorating cupcakes or sculpting creatures out of fondant. Great. That's not enough to sustain this long-term work of starting a business. So always remember that passion is great, but it's fleeting. It can be the fuel for your idea, but strategy is the engine of your business, not passion. Mistake number two is selling everything under the stars. I also did this when I first started because you're trying to get attention, right? But the key to profitability is to focus on honing in on one thing, getting really great at that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But if you are someone who has a laundry list of items on your menu, this is your sign to scale it back, especially if you're in the first 2 years of starting your business. Focus on getting good at one thing. I recently shared that there's a book by Malcolm Gladwell, and that book discusses the importance of spending 10,000 hours on average to get good at mastering one thing. And so if you make the most delicious chocolate chip cookies, go all in on that, master that, and make that your one thing. The third mistake I see small business owners make is pricing. I know that pricing can be difficult. I have so many free tools, so I'll link them in the show notes for you if you're struggling with pricing. We have to fix that once and for all. But pricing is so much more than just knowing what to sell your products for. Pricing is getting really good at understanding how to calculate the cost of the goods that you make. So that includes factoring in things like labor, your overhead expenses, your fixed and variable expenses. It sounds complicated, but in addition to just knowing how much revenue you're generating, pricing seems complicated, but when I talk to business owners about their revenue, the only thing they really ever know the answer to is how many sales they've actually made. So I did $2,000 in sales last month. You can do $2,000 in sales and have zero profit. In fact, you can do $2,000 in sales and owe money because your pricing was so wrong. You could have made $0 or -$, depending on your pricing. So pricing is key. But the most important thing to know is you gotta know all the numbers. You need to know what your overhead costs are, your fixed costs, your variable costs. You need to know how much the price of an egg is in 2025. Let's be real, they've skyrocketed about 300%. And so you need to know how to pass these costs down to your customers. Not knowing your numbers is pretty detrimental. So those are the three things. Believing that passion is enough, selling way too many things, and not knowing your numbers. Now let's dive into this 3-step process that I have for turning your passion into a profitable business. Step number one is to get really clear on who your business serves. I recommend starting local with the customers that you have access to. Lots of times people make the mistake of wanting to serve these ideal clients that are in a neighboring neighborhood or community, and I definitely made that mistake. Living in Los Angeles, it's huge. People think Hollywood, they think actors, celebrities, and I fell into that trap too. I got into the baking business because I loved the art and I wanted to create show-stopping cakes that you would see on TV. I figured and assumed that only celebrities would be able to afford those. So I started booking celebrity orders, driving hours in LA traffic to get to them, and it just wasn't sustainable. They weren't my people. I didn't want to deal with their assistants and these crazy delivery times. Sometimes they wanted me to deliver cakes to clubs at 2 o'clock in the morning. So instead, I pivoted very early on and started serving my local community, which was comprised of tons of schools and teachers and working professionals. And so we became a local family baking business that served all of the celebration needs that this community had. I'm actually writing a book about how I started my business, and one of the big steps is how I messed up in the beginning. So learn from my mistakes and comment below if you want a copy of my book. I'm almost in the final stages of it and I'm excited to share it with you guys. I also put together a downloadable free PDF guide for you, basically talking about if I needed to start a business all over again in 2025, here are the steps that I would do. So be sure to download that today. Back to getting crystal clear on who you serve. Think about the customers that you love the most, the ones that have been a pleasure and a joy to work with. What have they purchased from you? What do they rave about? What do they share about your business to other people that are like them? And then after you think about who those people are and what they rave about, I want you to dial that in a step further. Instead of I make custom cakes, you could say something like I sell elegant, modern wedding cakes to brides looking for floral and modern designs. That's getting really clear on who you serve, what problems they have, and how you create something that solves that problem. One way to find out what kind of products that you sell that your customers love is to do a poll or a story on Instagram and simply ask them. And then once you gather that information, you can turn it into testimonials, but you can then make sure that you're really focused on the things that your customers are already telling you they love and get from you. Here's a little challenge for you in the comments below. Write one sentence about your ideal client, what you serve, and how it solves a problem for them. Step number 2 is to create a product that specifically solves a huge problem for that ideal client that you just narrowed down. An example would be I was making custom celebratory cakes for celebrities until I realized that I wanted to serve my local community, and they wanted after school treats. They wanted to stop in the morning and pick up pastries to take to local schools or offices. And so I doubled down on smaller items. Even though I started the business because my passion was art, I doubled down on smaller items because that was the best way for me to serve my ideal clients who were right there in my local neighborhood. So if you don't know what kind of problems your business solves for your ideal clients, here are some questions to dive into. What problems do the people in my community have that I can solve? Here's the thing, if you can solve one problem, that's great. If you can solve multiple, that's even better. Examples would be, I don't just sell cakes, I sell last minute grab and go cakes that taste amazing for busy working moms. You're selling to a local customer that is pressed for time, that probably forgot about a birthday or some sort of celebration. So you create something convenient that saves them time, headache, hassle, all of that stuff. Taking it to the next level would be how do you make it even easier for them to purchase from you? That's something to consider for later. Next tip, think to yourself, what is something so irresistible that I can create for my customers that not only will make them drool over it and share it with their friends, but literally make them want to throw money at you. For example, I sold cupcakes and small pastries that helped my local customers come in daily for a treat. We wound up rotating through a menu that changed not only weekly, but monthly, very similar to the crumble model where items are limited time. And then we took it to the next level by making little mouth-watering pieces of art by creating things like panda cupcakes or unicorn cupcakes or mermaid cupcakes. Those were things that made moms want to get in the car with their kids, drive to my bakery, take pictures, share it with their friends, and then order those by the dozens for their kids' birthday. So that solved multiple problems, but ultimately it made my customers the hero of any event. The 3 questions you want to think about when trying to figure out what your ideal clients want and need. What problems do the people in my community have and how can I solve them? What's something irresistible that they would drool over and share? And what's something that would make them say, take my money, I want a dozen. Another thing you could do is look at past orders. What things have sold well? What things do people send thank you notes or testimonials about? What things make people write reviews? So go through your past orders, figure out what things make you the most money, what things customers rave over, drop it in the comments, and then I'll help you make it stand out even more. The next thing that I think people really drop the ball on, this is key to scaling and having a profitable business, is having a marketing plan or strategy that works, that's repeatable, that you focus on. Here's what I mean by that. Lots of people think that posting regularly is a marketing strategy. It's actually not. Knowing who these ideal clients are helps you get good at creating content specifically for them. And so often I see bakers just desperately trying to put content out. They want to go viral so that way they can grow, but they're putting it out for the wrong reasons and then they attract the wrong people. Here's what I mean. If you share a video on how to perfectly pipe the most perfect name on top of a cake, guess who's gonna follow you? Other bakers who are trying to grow their business or get good at their craft. They're gonna follow you, like you, see that you do one thing, and you are gonna have this like inflated ego of all of these new followers that just found you, but guess what? None of them will ever buy your products. If you shared the same footage of you piping a name beautifully on a cake, this random customer found you, by looking at a testimonial that you had posted on Instagram and booked an order with you for her sister's upcoming 30th birthday, and you go on and on about how special you feel to be a part of this memory and other people can place their orders too, you are hooking in more customers. They're seeing that it's easy to place an order with you. They're seeing how and why people book orders with you and order cakes, right? They order for 30th birthday celebrations. If you use hashtags like that, you're going to find more customers versus finding more bakers who just want to stick around and watch what you're doing to learn from you. I'm telling you right now that that one tip is a game changer. And if you start getting very intentional with the types of posts that you're putting out, and before you put them out, ask yourself, who will this attract more of? I promise you this will be a game changer for you. The next tip I have for you in creating a marketing plan or a marketing strategy machine is to leverage tools like AI. I've been talking about AI now for months, and I've been using AI for a couple of years. I didn't want to scare all of these bakers with all this AI tech talk, but to be truthful, bakers and bakery owners and small business owners who have teams of 15 or less, we're the main ones that need to be leveraging AI tools. Why? Because we're already overworked. We're trying to figure out how to do all of this stuff, stay on top of our to-do list, and we're just always overwhelmed, right? And so we are the main ones that should be leveraging tech tools to help us streamline processes and efficiencies in our bakery, and a marketing plan is no different. So the challenge I have for you is, can you use AI to train it to write better captions? Can you use AI to create newsletters or better descriptions for your products? Leverage the tools that are available to you and create a system. That will be super helpful for this marketing engine that I'm telling you to create. Also, if you need help with AI, I have an AI training for beginners. I'll link it in the show notes below, but I definitely think it's a must watch and it's a game changer if you're trying to grow and scale your business. The last tip I have for you around creating a marketing machine for your business is leverage social proof. Social proof is a testimonial. It's a Yelp review. It's some sort of positive email that a customer has sent to you, and your job is to share it because we want access to people who like and love the things that these customers like and love. And we also want to give some confidence to the people that may be on the fence of purchasing from us. So you could share those testimonials on your website. You can share those testimonials on social media, but I would make it a practice to once a week share a testimonial from a happy customer, couple it with the cake or product that they purchased. And I promise you other people will take that as social proof and say, wow, this is a reputable company. They seem to have healthy, great, happy customers writing nice things about them. I'm gonna book with them too. So in closing, here are 3 quick homework assignments for you. Number 1, write one simple sentence about your dream client below, and I'll help you tweak it, but really get crystal clear on who you're serving and why you're serving them. Number 2, I want you to identify your top 2 to 3 best-selling, drool-worthy, over-the-top, social proof things that your customers rave about. I want you to tell me exactly what those items are down below. Because the next step is to look at your numbers and figure out if there's actually profitability in those. People may love them. If they love them and they're not priced right, it's draining the profit in your business. And number 3, I want you to pick one marketing focus this week. Get into action. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't worry about the strategy or marketing machine that I was talking about. Focus on one simple thing that you're going to try this week. That could be leveraging customer testimonials. That could be diving into some AI tools. And that could be sharing behind the scenes videos for customers, not bakers. So pick one thing you want to focus on this week. Let me know what it is. Let's dive in and let's watch the magic. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what your key takeaways are. Don't forget to download my new freebie. It costs you nothing. It will help you with everything, and it's If I Started a Business Over in 2025. It's linked in the show notes below. I know it's going to be really game-changing and helpful for you, so be sure to snag a copy. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you guys in the next video.